When you look at the price of Bitcoin right now, since you started there, what do you think it ultimately lands at? And what do you think the window is right now for it?
Oh, you know, I've been saying this for a long time. It's roughly doubled every year for 12 years that we've been doing this. So I think it keeps doing that for at least a few more years. It's still a very low single-digit percentage of global wealth. So I think it could go up to 750,000 in the next 4 or 5 years.
Welcome back to the channel. Aaron here from the Bitcoin Bros. And that was Pantera Capital's founder saying that Bitcoin's going to be exploding over the next couple of years, going to $750,000. Definitely good to hear. What do you guys think about that? Do you think Bitcoin can get that high in a couple of years? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And we have another Monday where Strategy is buying more Bitcoin. They acquired 525 Bitcoin for around $60 million. So they're continuing to get closer and closer to that goal of 1 million Bitcoin at 638,000 BTC there. And the $60 million came from their perpetuals, from Strife, Strike, and Stride. Not seeing anything from STRC yet, probably because it hasn't gone above $100 yet. But you can see here the perpetuals are picking up a bit, and Saylor is using some of those funds to buy Bitcoin. Good to see. And remember, this market that he's targeting here is the fixed income market, which is a $300 to $400 trillion market that he's targeting. He's trying to get funds into these products to buy more Bitcoin. So that is huge. And you can see some decent volumes coming from these products so far. That is really good to see. But not much else from Strategy today. Looking at Capital B, Alexander Lazette. He was on our channel and did an interview a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago at this point. But they just bought another 48 Bitcoin. They now have 2,249 BTC. Their Bitcoin yield to date is around 1,500. So Capital B looking pretty good there, and they're continuing to buy more Bitcoin. And then you have publicly traded hyperscale data. They launched a $100 million Bitcoin treasury strategy funded by selling some of their data center assets. This is really huge to see, just more companies buying Bitcoin, holding for the long term because they believe in the future of BTC. This is definitely good to see here for Bitcoin. And then looking at the M2 chart here, Bitcoin was following M2 up to about June here to a T over the past couple of years. But we've seen a little bit of a discorrelation here where M2 has continued to go up and Bitcoin has not followed. So there's two scenarios you could look here. You could say, well, Bitcoin is going to eventually catch up to M2 and it's going to $150,000. Or you could say this is similar to what happened back in 2021, 2022, when M2 continued to go up at the end of 2021 and Bitcoin started to go down and then eventually went into a bear market. So that is two different ways to view this chart right here. But more liquidity in general is going to be good for Bitcoin, good for the entire market, good for most assets for them to go up. And then we have an important day this week. You guys know FOMC is coming on September 17th. And right now what's priced in is a 25 basis point cut. Now, I think a lot of people are expecting once this cut happens for Bitcoin's price to just immediately go up and for all of these stocks to immediately go up, but 25 basis points is already priced into the market. Now, if we get 50 basis points, the market could definitely go up during the FOMC meeting. But if they get 25 basis points, it's really going to determine on what Jerome Powell says. If Jerome Powell comes out and says things that are very dovish, the market will perceive that as good and the market could rally because of that. But if Jerome Powell comes out and he's very hawkish or bearish on the economy, saying that maybe a recession could come or any number of things, then we could see a sell-off. So it's not really about the 25 basis point cut right away. That's going to be good for months to come, 2, 3, 4 months to come. The prices normally go up after the rate cuts, but it's really going to be the short-term volatility is going to be based on what Jerome Powell says after they already come out with a number and he does his press conference. So that's what you should be watching out for on September 17th. And that is really all I had for today's video. Not a lot going on here on Monday. I do have another clip for you guys. Arthur Hayes weighing in on the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. He believes that we may not get a 4-year cycle like what we've seen in the past for BTC. And that is something that could potentially happen, especially with all this institutional adoption. Bitcoin is more correlated to the traditional market more than ever before, especially because of the Bitcoin ETF. So thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. If you found any value, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more new content coming out every single day. Check out this clip and appreciate every single one of you guys for watching.
A consumer runs out of cash. What does the American consumer do when they don't have money? They borrow it. And so if I reduce the cost of money, then you can borrow more. And so I think that's why the price of money in this instance matters. So I think that's a very short-sighted sort of explanation if you sort of believe that the Fed's going to start cutting rates and Trump is going to unlock all this liquidity on Fed balance sheets in the mortgage market. And Bitcoin is the best performing asset when you think about currency debasement ever. When you talk to a TradFi person and sort of really get down to what they believe, what do they believe? They believe the same things that we believe. They believe that when something happens, the Fed, the Treasury, the BOJ, the ECB, the PBOC, the SNB, they will print money. And what happens when they print money? They buy bonds. So it's not that we have a difference of opinion. We believe the same things. We believe the money will be printed. It's just that we in crypto choose an asset that performs better. It doesn't matter that the S&P is at 6,700 or whatever it is. It's still down in gold terms from the crisis. So I think people need to readjust their perspective on this. I think that people are underpricing the upside in equities, in crypto, and everything. They don't realize how badly all these governments need to print money. Yes, it's going to end in absolute Armageddon at the end of the cycle, whenever that is, but I don't think we're there yet. And therefore, I don't believe in the 4-year cycle. I believe that we can continue ripping through, $150, $175, $200,000 Bitcoin because of this massive macro overlay of what is happening right now between now and the end of the decade.